Saturday, we have a beautiful 7 game slate tonight. Really looking forward to it. It's really looking like a fun slate. So can't wait to dig into it. Before that, hopefully you guys had a good day yesterday. Was a decent day. We had 286 on DraftKings. Could have been a little bit better. Like could have hit 300 if Vooch played some fourth quarter minutes, and then FanDuel hit 306. So let's get into today's slate. As always, really appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support. And if you wanted to join us, you can visit the website. Link is in the description. Check out Twitter for updates. Post the final course closer to lock. And let's get started. So just looking at the 7 game slate, you have a bunch of games that you want to target. Detroit, Brooklyn is on that list. Milwaukee, Washington, Portland, Minnesota, Sacramento, Atlanta, even Toronto. Like you have like 9 teams that look really, really good. Could even look at like Indiana and Phoenix as well. So there's just so many good games to target. And then you also have Jokic and Doncic going at it, and the late night hammer. So it's looking like a really, really fun slate. It should be pretty high scoring. So let's go ahead and break it down. Starting off at the point guard options, we have 4 guys above 10,000 bucks: Harden, Lillard, Doncic, and Westbrook. The Wizards kind of got beat pretty badly last night against Sixers, even though Embiid left midway through the third. Bradley Beal was a game time decision heading into that game. If they decide to hold him out tonight, then Westbrook would be a lot better of a play. A little bit worried, but I think if there's no Beal tonight, then Westbrook would be one of the better options to pay up for. I like Lillard a ton. You should drop 60 at least on these Minnesota Timberwolves heads. Completely garbage defensive team. You put up 67 in just 29 minutes against them earlier this season. Like, this is a spot where you want to go to Lillard if you can. If we get some more value throughout the day, he would be a tremendous option. And then Harden against Detroit. I'd rather go to Lillard, I think. Rather go to Doncic, still like probably the third guy. And then you have Young and Irving in the 9K range. Young looks alright, but I think I would probably just spend some extra coin and get up to like Lillard, or you could even go Doncic. And then Irving, I won't get to him at almost 10,000 against the Pistons. Just don't think it's that great of a spot for them. I'd rather target some players on the Pistons side, just because we know the Nets don't play defense. Then you have Kyle Lowry, 87. He's been shooting the ball awful the last couple games, 41 and 49 fantasy points still. Still without Siakam, Van Fleet, OG, so still going to be playing huge minutes. If his shot's falling, he's going to drop 50. It's just a matter of if he can kind of get them to fall. LaMelo is no longer really in play right now until his price comes down. Now that they're basically all healthy, it's tough to pay that much for him. And I don't have much interest in Jamal Murray. Chris Paul looks all right. Brogdon also looks good. But the Pacers are getting LeVert today, making his debut. He should probably be limited, but that will take some usage away from Brogdon, some of the other starters out there. So I'll kind of probably see how that kind of affects the rest of the team right now. Before I go with Brogdon, I think Sabonis still looks good because he's not going to really mess with his minutes. Halliburton at 62, his price tag has, on FanDuel is still pretty expensive. It's come down a bit on DraftKings as well. Only played 18 minutes, but we know if he's playing well, he's going to get 35, 36 minutes. He gives you a huge GPP upside, so he's always in play in tournaments, even in cash at this type of matchup. This game should go over 240 total. I believe it should kind of crush, expecting both teams to put up north of 120. I like Ricky Rubio. There's no Jordan McLaughlin tonight. They won. I mean, they win by. I think they won by 30 against the Pelicans. Rubio was playing pretty poorly, but he still was almost averaging a DraftKings point per minute. Still at a good price tag. There's no McLaughlin tonight, so Rubio is going to look pretty good at that price tag. I think DeLon Wright also looks like a good guy to target because there is no Dennis Smith Jr. is out. They traded away Svi, so they're down a couple of guys here. So DeLon Wright, even though it's only his second game back, should be in line for some extra minutes tonight. And then I don't really want to go to Trent Graham coming off the bench. His minutes are going to be lower now. So tough to kind of go to him. Jalen Noel broke the slate 2 nights ago. Put up 49 on 11 of 13 shooting. Got a lot of garbage time run. I don't want to chase that. Price tag has taken a hit, taken a big jump up, so people might go to him, but I will not be one of them. And I don't really want to go to Saban Lee. He's going to get some backup point guard minutes tonight without Dennis Smith, so maybe he's in play there. But that's pretty much it for point guard. Pretty loaded position. You have value with Rubio, Delon Wright. You have also forgot to mention Drew Holiday's only 6,500. He looks great as well. Then you can pay up for like Lillard, Trae Young. All those guys look really good. I'm going to take a shot on Drew Holiday tonight. It's a great spot. I want to get some exposure to the Milwaukee Bucks side. They won by 33 against the Knicks, so Holiday only had to play 25 minutes. And heading into that game, we already knew that he wasn't on a limit. That news came out before that game started. So I believe this game, if it's going to be a lot closer, then we'll probably get 30 plus minutes out of Holiday, and we're getting a nice discount. He was like over 7,000, 77, 73 back when he was playing healthy and playing his normal amount of minutes. Now we're getting a great discount at a point guard position that is pretty loaded, but he looks really good in the 6K range. And it's one of the best matchups you could ask for going up against Washington. Holiday can get some steals as well. He's a great defensive guy. Shooting guard, we have Irving at 97. I don't really want to go there. Bradley Beal, tough game for him last night. He's dealing with some sort of injury, so I don't really want to go to him, even though the price tag is nice. Middleton is 8,000. I'd rather go to Drew Holiday for sure at that like $1,500 difference. Norman Powell continues to make shots, continues to basically a bucket. A walking bucket hasn't dropped like below 25 points since the game against Miami, but ever since all these guys have been out, his usage has taken a big hit. He's dropped over 33 times in his last 4 games. Doesn't give you a ton of peripheral upside, but if he's playing 37, 39, 40 minutes, he's going to hit value because he shoots a bunch and actually makes a lot of his shots. In the 6K range, you have Anthony Edwards, who I absolutely love tonight, playing just huge minutes ever since Malik Beasley got suspended. We've seen Edwards not taken under 20 shots in all but like a few games. Ever since the end of February, he's taken 20, 22, 22, 23, 22 shots, playing big minutes. His minutes have gone up from like low 30s into high 30s and mid 30s. Even in a blowout, he played 37 minutes. He's a guy that's going to be out there. He shoots a bunch. He's taken some usage away from like Karl-Anthony Towns. We haven't seen Towns have some of his big ceiling games because Edwards is just taking so many shots and so much usage. And only 65 against Portland. This is one of the games I want to target. Expected to be high scoring. I think he looks like a tremendous option to go with tonight. Also, Buddy Hield playing a lot better, playing big minutes. The Kings run a pretty tight rotation. Even with Halliburton back, they ran like 9 or 10 guys last game, but a couple of guys barely played minutes. Like Bielitsa played a few minutes, and then like played a couple minutes for Kyle Guy, but it's really like Corey Joseph and Halliburton are the main guys off the bench. They run about like 7, 8 man tight rotation. Then a couple guys get some extra run. But I do like Buddy Hield. He's playing 37, 38, 42, 39, 38. Just playing big minutes right now. Even with Halliburton back last game, he played 38. Been taking a lot more shots, making his shots as well, and he's actually been a bit more aggressive in getting some rebounds and some peripheral stats, which is nice to see. It's a great spot against Atlanta. He's a guy that I like as well. Plug him in at small forward. And then we also have like Halliburton if you wanted to take a shot. I mean, I probably wouldn't play both Buddy Hield or Halliburton, but I do like Hield a little bit more just because I think his minutes are a little bit more secure. And then in the value range, it's not that much in the 5K range I'm looking at. I don't want to go to Monk or Brown or Trent or Richardson or Hardaway now that Porzingis and Doncic are back. In the 4K range, nothing that looks that appealing as well right now. They got to take Svi off the list. I mean, maybe Ellington looks a little bit appealing, but he's just not a guy that gets you a lot of peripherals, and he's just going to shoot a bunch of threes. So nothing that looks that appealing. Maybe Davis, but I think that 6K range is pretty loaded with at least Edwards and Buddy Hield, and that's probably the way I'll go. Small forward, we have Middleton at 8,000, then Jeremy Grant. Like Grant a lot against Brooklyn. He's just been their best player all season. He's been consistent. He's kind of struggled at times, not making a lot of his threes recently, but still finds a way to get his job done most nights. Gets rebounds, gets to the basket, gets a lot of free throw attempts, knocks down his free throws. On the season against Brooklyn, he dropped like 47 in that one meeting against them earlier. It's on the road here. He's been good on the road and at home. Just a lot to like with him at this price tag. Position isn't super deep with a lot of pay up options, though. I think Grant is probably my favorite. I like Norman Powell. I like him a little bit more than Hayward. I don't want to go to Porter. Harrison Barnes also looks decent. 68 isn't a price tag you'll feel great about, but his role is pretty secure. Playing big minutes, 20-point blowout, so he didn't really get a lot of run at the end of the game, but he should play a huge minutes. Still gives you some sort of ceiling. The matchup is great, so he's not my favorite player on the Kings to target, but I think he's still in consideration. And Gallows, he's somewhat of an interesting play. He gives you a huge tournament upside. He's playing a bit more minutes recently. They brought in a new coach, McMillan. So maybe he'll continue to get more minutes. They do have Bogdanovich back, but they're still without Cam Reddish. So they're still, they're missing one of their rotation pieces. I don't mind him. I like him more on FanDuel, but I think he's still in play. Josh Jackson should get more minutes tonight without Dennis Smith. So he looks like a pretty good value option at 5,800. Well, Barton looks also solid. He was good last night. Still, maybe they'll rest Millsap on a back-to-back. We'll see. And then in the value range, like, I don't think there's anything besides like Bogdanovich at 3,800. He shot 0 of 6 last game. These minutes should kind of creep up as he gets more healthy and more kind of back to his full speed. You have Stanley Johnson. It's 3,800. He's going to start and play like 25 to 28. Potential to get up to 30 plus minutes depending on how well he's playing. So those are the two value plays I like at small forward. It's Bogdanovich and Stanley Johnson, and then Jake Layman is 35. It's not that appealing at all. So moving on to power forward. At the top, it's Giannis. I don't know why there's a big 1 next to his name. I mean, this is one of the best spots you could ask for against Washington for a guy that plays as fast. I mean, for a team that plays as fast as the Bucks do, both teams play fast. Giannis coming off of a triple-double. Only played 29 minutes, but we've seen him play a lot more minutes this season in close games. Looks really, really good. Probably one of the best pay-up options on the slate if you wanted to go to that sort of approach, unless you're going kind of a balanced approach. I like Jeremy Grant, 7,700. I like Gallo a little bit, 57. Covington is cheap enough to consider at 56. Plays a lot of minutes. He's a good defensive player. If he has a good game and has a good shooting game, he'll probably drop 40 plus because the blocks and steals are there almost every night, which is pretty impressive. And then you could look to Stanley Johnson at 3,800 for a power forward option. It's going to be Jeremy Grant for me right now. Just like the matchup, like the price tag, and without a couple of pieces, I think maybe he'll have to take on a little bit more usage. At center, Giannis looks to be a tremendous pay-up option. Giannis, Jokic, and then I'll probably go Towns. I like Sabonis. Like him more on FanDuel. He looks fine on DraftKings still at that price tag. At least it's coming down. I mean, it should be low 9K range at least, but it's not. At least it's coming down. I love Clint Capella here, $7,500. His minutes are also kind of up and down. Like, they could go Collins at the center at times, which is why he only played 28 minutes, but I just love this type of matchup. He doesn't have to play full minutes to kind of crush, he's averaging just 29 minutes on the season, averaging 40 drafting points. It's a great spot. We know he has 50, 60-point upside. Well, should get a ton of rebounds, should have his way against Richaun Holmes, against Bagley. Should get a lot of rebounds, should get a lot of putbacks. And the Kings like to drive to the basket a lot. Fox likes to drive Halliburton, so potentially get some block shots. I think they're like top 10 in the NBA in giving up block shots. So Capella potentially can have a block fest here, and that would be great at 7,500. Also look at Boucher at 6,600. It's a great spot. He's always kind of a risky player because sometimes his minutes aren't going to be there, but they're still down a couple of pieces, and he does foul like crazy at times as well. But he's done really well against the Charlotte Hornets, as you would expect. Not that scary of a matchup. It's just scary how Nick Nurse uses him at times, but I think I like Capella a little bit more, and then you could also go Richaun Holmes as a value play at 6,400 without Hassan Whiteside. His minutes should be north of 30, so he looks good as well. And then you have DeAndre Ayton at 6,300 as another guy that we can consider. If you wanted to go a completely different route, you can play Covington, but I don't want to sacrifice the center spot with Covington. I'd rather play him at one of the forward spots. And then Millsap was really good last night for his price tag. 48 put up 25. His price tag came down a little bit. I don't think he'll play full minutes tonight. Might even sit out, so I don't think he's that appealing. And then that's mainly it. I think Biombo started. Actually, I don't think he did. I think they thought he was going to start, but they probably went with Zeller. 4,900, played 26 minutes. He's all right. He's not a must play. So that's the main five I'm looking at, and then the last guy is going to be Ricky Rubio. Want to get some exposure to Minnesota here. Rubio should benefit without McLaughlin. He should have benefited last game, but that game kind of got out of hand. He still played 27 minutes. I think the potential for him to get north of 30 is really strong tonight. It's a good spot. Hopefully, he gets a double-double tonight, because I do think he'll be able to. I do think they'll be able to score against Portland, and hopefully they'll stay in this game. So those are the 6 pieces I'm looking at for tonight on DraftKings. Let's jump over to FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel here, looking at the point guard options, starts with Luka, Russell Westbrook, Lillard. They're all pretty nicely priced. I like Lillard's price at 99. I like Luka as well. His price tag has come down. He was over 11,000 for much of the season. Then you have Trae Young at only 9,000. You have De'Aaron Fox at 87. Both of those guys look appealing. Also, Lowry, you have to throw him in the mix at 84. Then there's also a lot of value at this position. You have Chris Paul at only 7,100. You have Malcolm Brogdon at only 6,600. We also have Holiday at only 61. DeLon Wright at 61. They also are really cheap. And then the ultimate cheap plays are Ricky Rubio at 4,800. And you could look at Jalen Noel, who's 3,600. So this position is pretty loaded here. I will probably go with Rubio at 48. I just like that price tag on him a lot. Shooting guard options, it's Harden at 11.8. That price tag is really getting up there. I don't think I'll get to him tonight. Halliburton is way expensive on FanDuel. So I won't go to him. I'd rather go to Buddy Hield. I'd rather go to Edwards, Josh Jackson in the mix here. And then you also have like Kevin Huerter as a decent option. Devontae Graham 4,700, but I want to see how many like his minutes will go way down. So it looks pretty good, but there is some risk that he won't play more than 25 minutes. And Karis LeVert is only 3,900. I mean, don't know how many minutes he'll play. If they say he's only going to play like 10 to 15 or 10 to 20, then he's not like a must play. But if he gets to like 25 minutes, I think it's tough for him not to pay off 3,900. So right now, compared to a $7,100 tag on DraftKings, he looks much, much, much better. On FanDuel, he's not playable on DraftKings, I don't think. Small forward at the top, it's Norman Powell, looks great. You can look at Chris Middleton, Hayward, they're all in play. I'd probably go Powell, Middleton, Hayward. I like Barnes a little bit. I like Barton at only 5,600. And then you have Gallo at 47 if you wanted to take a shot with him as a decent option in the low 4K range. So they all look pretty good. I think right now we'll go ahead and just plug in Powell just because he's probably going to still drop 40, 45, potentially get up to 50. Power forward is Giannis Sabonis as a pay up. So you have Porzingis, Jeremy Grant as your value plays. In the 7K range, I like Grant the most. In that range, I like Giannis, then Sabonis. Boucher is also in play at 67, as well as Covington. And then a pump play, it's not really one, but it would be like Crowder or Wagner at 39 and 4,100. But I'll go with Jeremy Grant, 74. I think he's going to drop probably 40 at least. And then last but not least, center, it's Capella, who I like, Karl Anthony Towns. If you wanted to go all the way up for Jokic, you could, but I'd probably go Towns or Capella if I was paying up. And then I like Holmes at only 6,700 without Whiteside. It gives you some block upside. And the matchup is just really, really good against the Hawks. It should be a high-scoring game. It should be one where he's going to be able to get rebounds, get some, putbacks, hopefully get some block shots. So, really like Holmes. I like Holmes, and I really like Clint Capella on FanDuel. So that's pretty much it. You can go to Aiden if you wanted to, but I think I like the other guys a little bit more. So that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and see y'all next time.